There we go. Hi guys. So I'm Marissa for anyone who doesn't know me. Um, I guess I'll start with a little background. Um, I was in the dental field. Um, I knew Aaron Wilson's sister, knew that Aaron was in the dental field as well. Um, so I reached out to her. She told me that she was pretty much quitting the dental field, working doing insurance. And I was like, that's really crazy because hygienists, they make pretty good money. So um reached out to her. She told me what she was doing. Um Immediately got started. Started the beginning of June part-time. And then I went full-time the end of July. It was about
hmm
the end of July. Gave my job like a month notice. Um, and then that's Haylee and I work together, so that's gonna tell your backstory.
So I'm Haylee. I worked at the same office as Marissa. I was there for a while. I just wanted to not do a 9 to 5 anymore. So she kind of told me what she was doing. I got licensed. I did part-time a couple Fridays in July, and then I went full-time in August. Family reunion, I think was in August. That was my first event. So I quit my job on Thursday, went to that event Friday, Saturday, and then got back. I did in home for a little while. Now I'm virtual, but I was in home for maybe 4 months, August to mid-December, and then I full time, and then I went to virtual starting in like mid-January. I switched to virtual, so now I'm full time virtual. When did you switch? Like February to virtual?
Yeah, I was about February. I stopped doing in-homes. I did like one in January and I was like, done, done.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was about a month after you. Um, so in February, that's when I started the virtual. I kind of watched Haley do it. She kind of taught me, I guess, what she knew. Um, we, I don't know, we pretty much have like the same schedules. We kind of go, I don't,
Yeah, like we're like we both do like Monday through Thursday. We'll do Friday appointments, but we really wanted this for a better schedule. So that's kind of why we're both the same. We do the same lead, same schedule. We kind of organize the same. So a lot of this stuff's going to be like the same that we do. Um, Maybe a different point of view, but uh, I know like transitioning from in-home to virtual was a big difference. We liked in-home. I like virtual more, but we liked in-home. It was, success rate was good. We were writing 1 to 3 apps a week. Some would be more, some would be less. But average, it was 1 to 3 apps a week. Um, the reason I switched from in-home to virtual, I live in a very small town. I would have to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours a day just to go get a, good amount of leads in one area. Like my county I was subscribed to, I only got like 2 leads a month off of my county. So I'd have to go further out to get them. Which was not bad, but it just every day I was driving 4 hours, not including going to appointments. So I just switched to virtual. Once I kind of knew the products and I knew, what to do. Obviously, I call Mike every day still, but that's why I switched to virtual. I just was tired of driving. And I do like in home because it's quicker turnarounds. And obviously virtual, it just takes longer to close deals. But that's why I switched, just to not drive so much. And now I just stay at home and do it.
pretty much the same thing. I actually had three counties, so I was staying in my county that I was in. I was driving about 30 minutes to another county and then probably about 45 to an hour for another county. It was a little hard to, I guess, do all three counties in 1 week. So that was getting a little exhausting. Also, my car is like 13 miles per gallon. So that also was no bueno. So, um,
And we live like 30, 40 minutes from each other. So we also didn't want to be on top of each other lead wise. It's like we couldn't do like the same county because there's just not enough people out here to have that many leads come in, especially for two agents. So it was just, leads were just not, they were good. It's just there was not enough of them out here. But currently I'm doing ethos. We're doing the aged abandoned car, the 31 to 90 days. Normally we buy leads on Mondays, just depending on our week, but normally we'll buy leads on Mondays. We try to spend anywhere from like 250 to 500. Now we're closer to that 500 mark now that we've been doing it for a couple months. But if we have a short week, we'll just get, 30, 35. If we're going to be working 5 days, we'll get 50 or 60. But normally we stay, I know I pretty much stay in the state, Georgia, that we live in. Do you do that too?
well, as of 2 weeks ago, I accidentally selected all the United States of America. And so I got all the states. And I've had a lot of luck with a couple of those. So I've just kind of been buying like 25 in one state, 25 in another state kind of thing. So um I know she keeps saying we, and we literally actually do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
We pretty much, I'm kind of like fast forward a little bit, but we pretty much we we FaceTime every day.
Yeah.
We're pretty much like little cubicle buddies, I guess, but virtually. So we adopt each other's words and expressions, and it kind of helps build the
Yeah.
confidence, and just keeps us accountable, I guess. So that really helps us and really helped with that in-home to virtual transition, I guess. When you say so.
Yeah. Cause like some things she says, and I'm like, wow, why didn't I think of that? And then we basically go off each other. We're dialing our own leads, of course, but I mean, we just have someone there and even if I call Mike, she can hear what he's saying for each like scenario because they're all so different. So it really helps I feel like you learn quicker like that because you don't have just your situations. You've got someone else that you're listening to, different diagnosis, different companies, stuff like that. So it actually, I think in the beginning it kind of slowed us down a little bit just because we had no idea, where to start and what to do. But now I think it's a good rhythm, and I think it definitely helps because it's just different outlook on different things. But I mean, I plan to stick with ethos. It's been good to me. I haven't done vertical yet. I know a lot of people do, and they have good luck off of it. I just haven't stepped out of the ethos yet. I feel like I need to be a little bit more experienced before I jump into that. I know it's the same thing, it's final expense, but I'm actually liking the term in the younger crowd that the ethos bring. They're not all super young, but because I was just so based on in homes, it was just like all older people with a ton of diagnosis and stuff like that. So I'm actually liking doing term and whatnot, IUL, stuff like that. I mean, there's pros and cons to both. You just got to pick which one you like better. And like I said, virtual takes longer to close the deals, but I feel like there's more opportunity, or maybe bigger opportunity, just because I feel like the younger people they, it's
Know
not,
what they want.
yeah, they come to you, they're like, this is what I want, put me down for it. And I'm like, okay, let's get you approved. So, in homes, you're having a lot of different people, which, and some of them were, I mean, easy, like just sign
Mhm.
here, but in a lot of them you're doing cash values and stuff like that. Term and like younger, you're not doing a whole lot of that, but there are still a few. But I know like with in-homes, it's quicker. You can drive to them. You have access to their, you have their address. It's down the road. Vertical, not vertical, virtual. I mean, some of these are 2.5 hours away, even though they're still in Georgia. I haven't stuck to one county yet. I might do that though, where you just do one county in your state. But I mean, I've been all over, and I like the different areas too. Because they'll text you and be like, "Hey, did you make it to the storm?" And I'm like, "I didn't get any rain," but it's just they text you that stuff. So um I would just say for in-home, like the pros, quicker money. You can go straight to their house. Cons, I would say, I mean, you're spending more in gas money. I feel like the days are longer and sometimes doesn't feel as productive because if you have no shows, you just drove there. But
Mhm.
virtual, I mean, you can still have no shows, but you can dial them. You can dial someone else right after. Takes 2 seconds to dial. So I would say that's more in-home pros and cons, but there's some for virtual too. But do you want to go over your virtual pros and cons?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much just said it all. There's more opportunity for virtual. I do love my final expense people. I like the quick money. Um, I think the cons for virtual, I'm dealing with, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this. I'm dealing with Trans-America more, and they are not my favorite.
Yeah,
Um, so, um, but yeah, I mean, a term, I think it just takes a little bit longer to get paid.
yeah,
So really you have to keep going. You
yeah.
want more money, you have to like keep it going. Um, but it's always kind of like a little treat, the next week when you get accepted and then they're get that commission coming in from someone from a few weeks ago or whatever. But yeah, I mean, you pretty much just said it all.
I will say virtual is a lot more, and I didn't realize this until obviously I was doing it. It's a lot more book work, like paperwork wise, because I mean, some policies I call on 3 times a week, and
Mhm.
they just take longer. You have to stay on top of virtual. In homes too. I mean, if you have to do cash surrender and stuff like that, you can do it at their house. It takes an extra 10 minutes. They still call you, they still have questions, but I feel like virtual, you just have to really be organized because you miss one thing and I mean, if you're not on top of it, they can slide out from under you. Um, if you tell them, hey, just be patient. Most of mine I haven't had a problem with it, but some of them I write notes like crazy, like call and draft so and so on Monday, or I mean, I have a list of things if I have to check on underwriting or risk assessment, stuff like that. So it's a lot more, I would say, book work, but you're not driving, so that takes up that time. So I mean, normally we schedule like an hour at the beginning of each day just to call, do risk assessments, call and check on policies, make sure things are getting drafted when they're supposed to, uh, even like, I mean, updating names or anything like that. So it's you got to be really organized with that, which I think has been pretty okay, but um I just didn't realize that going into it. But now I think we got a pretty good schedule down. But I know, like I said, we buy leads on Mondays. Um, we start dialing maybe like sometimes it's different. 9:30 we start dialing. A lot of these people are at work, they're younger. So we'll do like a short dial session in the morning, or we'll just call until we just either run out of leads and we got to start over, or if we have appointments, obviously we stop for that. But um doing all of the risk assessments and stuff like that in the morning has helped because then it would just drag out all day long. So I think it's helped that we do a specific hour for that. Normally it's Monday through Thursday, 9:30 to 5-ish. If we have appointments after, that's fine. I don't dial like crazy. I don't know how many you dial a day, but some days I dial a ton. Some days I dial 20. And that's with doing appointments. That's with doing risk assessments. I was on the phone with a company this morning for almost 2 hours for one case that was done in January. So it's just like things like that pop up and you don't put that in your schedule. So some days it's all dialing and no appointments, no calling insurance companies, just straight dialing. And then some days it's just all over the place. So it's never, you think you have a schedule, but sometimes it just does not work out. But as long as you're dialing all day that you can in between appointments, in between calling those companies, then I mean, do as much as you can. But that's why you got to have enough leads to continuously dial, because someday you don't know if anybody's going to answer today, but then everybody could answer tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. And I think at first I was buying like 20, 30 leads, and I was like, I don't want to do more, which I don't even know why, because direct mail, I was spending like $500 to $700 a week, and I'm over here scared to spend 30 leads. Like,
I think we were scared because virtual can be scary only because if they're 3 hours away from you, you're not going to drive there. Who's to say they're going to be home? Who's to say they're even going to do anything with you? So it was scary going in saying these direct mail, you can spend just say $300 and you can go to their house.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend $300 on virtual and nobody pick up the phone. So it's a little scary, but once you start dialing these ethos, there's been like one batch that I got that not a whole lot of people answered, but I mean, everybody normally answers. And if they don't, they'll text you. And then you just text them and be like, hey, it's Haylee, call me. And they'll be like, okay, I get off at 5. So then you set it up like that. So it's scary at first because you're like, I'm just throwing money at this, but it's the opportunity's bigger. So yeah, you'll get your $200 premium and in-home and it'll be great. But and I think follow-ups for virtual are big. Like my most profitable week was off of, I went into the week with nobody on my schedule, maybe one appointment. That appointment rescheduled. And then I did follow-ups. I just texted the people who, I'd been working with for a couple weeks. They needed to reschedule, didn't get back on the books. I called them and I wrote all those people. Like that was my biggest week, was just follow-ups. I had nobody going into the week to write apps for. And so that you've got to stay on top of, just your follow-ups, because life gets busy. That's not the first thing that they're thinking about when they wake up. So you just have to stay on top of them like that.
Yeah.
And I think we're pretty organized now. Like now we see what all goes into it. So now I think we have that down to where we're organized enough to not let a whole lot slip through the cracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like those 30 leads that I would buy, I would literally work those to the bone. Like I would call them, leave them a voicemail. I would send them a text message and then they would respond. I know this morning you had said, I have nobody on my books for this week. And I was like, it's fine. You literally say that every Monday, but here you are writing, 8,000 AP a week, whatever. And like, it's fine. Like it always works out. Like, you don't have anybody, you can keep dialing, you can keep buying ethos leads. Like it just always works out.
Yeah, that was last week. I don't know why I was stressing, but sometimes you just, you relapse. Okay.
Yeah. But then that's why you have somebody to kind of help you and like calm you down.
Yeah. Cause I was like, I don't know why I was so mad, but I just didn't have anybody on the books. And like, I haven't had a week like that in a long time. So I was just like, am I losing it? Like, but then I wrote more last week than I did the 2 weeks before. So you just never know. That's why you have to stay on top of it, because a lot of these people, and we were for North Carolina. It was a Friday night. It was 10:30. And I had a client that no-showed me 3 weeks before that, March something, and like just ghosted me. And she texted me at 10:30 on Friday night. We were going to the meetup or whatever. And she was like, so sorry, I missed our appointment 3 weeks ago, but can we talk on Wednesday at 4? And I'm like, see, I'm like, yes, we can. But it's just things like that. Like it's, if you stay in contact with your clients, if you don't be pushy, don't hassle them, but if you truly like say, hey, here's how I can help you. Do you want my help? If you're upfront, this is what you're trying to do. This is, this will benefit you in this way. Lay it on the table for them. They'll appreciate it because I've
Mhm.
had multiple people reach out to me after hours, whatever. And they're like, so sorry, life got in the way. And I'm like, I get it because, life gets crazy. But then you start getting those kind of clients. And then those are the people I've had more referrals off of virtual than I have in home. And that could just
Mhm.
be something that I
Yeah.
wasn't doing. But I'm like, wow, it's a different world as long as you do it correctly.
Mhm.
But I know our schedules, we use like a planner for our appointments. So it's like every hour we'll make an appointment, sometimes every 30 minutes if, we have to throw it in there. And we just started, I know when I buy leads, I just like 3 weeks ago, I started printing out my leads, like on not an Excel sheet, but it's like in a grid or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, just because once you get so many leads, it's hard to get on integrity and scroll down through all those. So I just printed mine out. I think it's easier to keep up with that way. And I just write on the back, like so and so dialed, so and so, dialed the second day.
Yeah,
So
we literally print them out and then like
yeah,
right beside them.
yeah. And I think that's better just because half the time I couldn't see
Mhm.
my notes on there. So now we started printing them out. And we love it so far, but we've only been doing it for 3 weeks. But and we have a notebook, like I just have a spiral notebook that when they call, I write down, just the basic stuff, what they're wanting, what they currently have, height, weight, birthday, um, medications, anything like that. I write it in. And then once we get the application in, everything gets approved, then I transfer it to a client sheet that I just made. It basically just has the basic information, banking, social, driver's license, medications, assets, debts that they owe. Um, I try to write all that out if possible, if they, if I get everything. Um, Birthday, beneficiaries, all their beneficiaries, and then I just file it to, in their little bin alphabetically. So that's how I try to keep up with, because I used to just put my leads in there, but now that we don't really print them out like lead for lead, we'll just write it on a piece of paper that has all the information.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. Write it on a notebook. Those who I think are uh, interested, I guess. Um, I bought this book. It pretty much just has like I write everything that she just said. If they become clients, like I put a little sticky note or a little tab at the bottom. Um, I don't know. I like this. I'm more of a paper pen kind of person. I don't like the digital stuff. I don't work that way, I guess.
We have
Uh,
this. So this is like the client form, and
mhm.
basically it just has all their stuff. That one's not filled out. And then Marissa was super smart and made this client form, and this is what we send to them. So like when everything's approved and everything's good, it just has like their name, the name of the company, type of policy, policy number, and then on the bottom it has all of our information. If you need to change your beneficiaries, payment, address, anything, just contact. It has everything else that we do on there. So if they normally we'll send this out like, isn't it when you approve or when they approve
Mhm.
you send it out? That's what I do.
Yeah.
And we just send it in the mail. And I always tell them you'll receive, I try to send them the email that's approved or whatnot, depending on the company. And then I tell them they'll be getting a packet of information from the insurance company, and they'll also get something from me personally. Just put this with that when it comes, but this is just until you get that. Because sometimes, like Transamerica, sometimes they take 3 or 4 weeks to print out their policy and they get to them. And sometimes their draft date's a month out. So sometimes it's 6 or 7 weeks before they get any kind of information. So I just want them to feel like, hey, I have something in my hands for what I just did. So that's what I try to send to them. We just started that not too long ago, but I think it's just another way of they have your contact information, you know. And I mean, most of the time we tell them save our number. You can tell a lot of the times they do, because when they answer, they'll be like, "Oh, hey, Haley," you know, like, so you can tell that they just ask
Mm-hmm.
them, just say, "Hey, save my number." And I know some may not, and I'm sure, you know, more than none, but if just tell them, and they normally do. So it's normally pretty easy to get them to lock you in.
Yeah.
Um,
You can put your, when you text them, I always do save my name as Marissa Life Insurance. And then I have an iPhone. So you can go in there, edit the way you send it. So when I do it, it always goes Marissa Life Insurance. Like it explodes my name. So that way they know, like, I gotta say this girl's number. Hopefully.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
assuming that's what they do, but
yeah. I think most of the time
um
they do, but
no, but I kind of went through like chargeback hell, like November, December, January. Um, Freaking out. So, doing this virtually, like on the bottom of that sheet that she wrote, I just put, um, like if you need to update your beneficiary payment method address, please contact me directly. In event someone else attempts to make modifications to your
Mhm.
policy, kindly refer them to my contact information. This precaution is vital in protection of your policy from potential fraudulent activities. So I'm here to assist you in safeguarding your policy and provide you the best coverage option available. And I always tell them, like, every single year there's new products that come out. So if I
Yeah.
don't reach out and somebody else does, contact me and I can see if, I have that product, because more than likely I do. Um, so I don't know, me, I'm just a little scared to charge back. So I just really try to like drill that in their head, like contact me for anything. Um, so that's why I like sending that out to people.
And you know, I think virtually it's also because in home you could drive there. Virtually,
Hmm.
I think you take every measure you can, because I had a guy that was maybe like 30 minutes from me that ended up being an ethos, but he was like 30 minutes from me, and he just kept saying, "I'm just so glad you're local. Like it makes such a difference than calling someone in California," because someone in California had called him, which is across the way. But he was like, "I just feel so much more comfortable with you local." So I think virtually, that's why I think I want to stay in Georgia at the moment, because you get some of those people that are just like, "Hey, I want someone I can drive to my house, or you know, they can drive to me, whatever." They probably never will, I don't know, but they know that I'm there. So I just feel like when you're doing virtual, if you're doing leads like ethos, maybe pick a county, or you know, just a 50-mile radius or something. There's leads out there, you'll find them. So but I think with chargebacks, you just go every measure you can, and then also do it to where you can go to them. Doing stuff in Oklahoma, I just, yeah, if I get them, I'll work them, but I would rather have it, you know, in Georgia within an hour, you know. So I think that helps too, just because we were driving 2 hours, and now we're like, "Ugh, we don't want to do that again." So um just do everything you can to just get them to trust you. Like they're, and a lot of my people now are like, "Oh yeah, you're good." Like no, like they know I'm a normal person. I'm not some, you know,
Hmm.
people from other places. Anyway, um, uh, we always tell them when they get the packet in the mail, I always say to call me. If you don't have time to call me, take 10 minutes to sit down, make sure everything's right. These are legal documents. Make sure your name's good, social, birthday, beneficiaries' names are spelled correctly, their birthday, phone numbers, email address, address. Uh, everything. Just make sure, read the policy, make sure that what you asked for is what you got. I know I talk to a lot of people on Ethos, and they go through Ethos. So like they sign up with Ethos and they're like, I was told this and I got it in the mail and it actually says this. I'm like, yep. So just always get them, because if it comes back in a year later, they read everything. Everything is sent to them. That's why most of the time I send them the screenshot of the email now, just saying that it's approved. Just so it's another validation of, hey, I'm working on your stuff, you know. And a lot of them, you text them. I had a guy that I had to update his name. Well, I didn't have to update it. His name's been the same forever, but it wasn't right on the application. So it was the third, and I put that, it didn't translate to Transamerica anyway. So I was like, yeah, I'll just send it to you. And he was just so appreciative. Like, it's the little things that you're like, wow. So he was very appreciative of that. So just keep in contact with your people, because it's more to them than you know it is. Rather than just sign them up, you're good to go, talk to you in a year, you might get something in the mail. So I just think the more transparent you are with them, it's better in the long run. And those people send you referrals that
And
you
it
take
helps, like,
time with.
when you talk to them at first and you kind of, make that small talk, like, oh, not my wife, we both have 5 kids. We both have 5 kids. I have a donkey, I have
Yeah.
6 chickens. Like, I'm gonna write all these down. Hey, how's your
Yeah.
chickens? How's your donkey? Like, just kind of little small things, because I feel like they kind of appreciate that.
Yeah.
And they know you care, I guess.
And especially since you're doing, like, if you're doing virtual and you're doing term, a lot of the older people will need medical. Like, we had 2 people that was scared of needles, and I'm like, what do you want me to do about it? Like, you got a medical. But they would text us that morning and be like, nervous about my medical, but it'll go great. And we're like, yeah, it'll go great. Let me know if you need anything, like, call me if you want while they're there, like, whatever you want. And then they'll text afterwards and be like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I'm glad we did that. I was just dreading it. But then, like, those little things that people will continuously call. I mean, they just call you randomly and like, hey, how you been? I'm like, my in-homes didn't do that, but
yeah, I feel like
maybe
that's where it's a little different.
maybe
Like,
I'm better over the phone than in person, but it was
mm.
because I'm like, Dylan, why are these people calling me? Like, that means they trust you. Like, and not everybody's like that. Not everybody's gonna call you at 10:30 and be like, hey, what'd you eat for dinner? But a lot of them do, and that's how I feel like that was the difference. Trying to avoid chargebacks. I feel like those little things make a difference. That will make or break you.
Yeah. And I feel like I've had a lot of luck more with virtual, like, texting people.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my thing. Like, I did a whole application with like 3 people already through text message, like,
Yeah.
giving me their banking information through text message. I'm like, okay. But like, even today, like, a guy texted me and he was like, hey, let me borrow some money. Like, just somebody I just called, and he's like, who is this? So I told him everything through text message, the whole script. And then he was like, let me borrow some money. And I was like, I need to borrow some money too. And I ended up writing an application for this guy. So
Yeah.
I feel like, I don't
And you
know,
just called him. You
virtual.
just called him the first time today, right? And
Yeah,
he
I
didn't
just
answer,
called
so
it.
then
He
you
didn't.
text.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I feel like virtual is so it seems a little easier to me.
It's easier to sell. It's a lot of work, but
It is a lot of.
with Ethos, you got 2 different types of people. In home, you've got older people who still need help. I mean, they need it probably more than the virtual people, but you just have 2 different types of people who you're working with. Some are on limited income, disability, Social Security. They're just trying to keep the lights on. Then you have these people who are business owners who need, $1 million policies, and they're like, I don't care what it costs, I need it today. And so that's just the different, like, that's what we mean by, like, bigger opportunity. Not that there's not any in home, because I mean, I did fine in home, I think. I mean, I did what I wanted to, so I had the schedule I wanted to. I was just tired of driving. But I just think with virtual, you're talking to a different crowd, and it's also people you have to be more on top of, because these people are working. They're, mid-30s, mid-40s. They've got businesses, they've got kids. So you just have to really stay on top of that, but you get rewarded for it. If it's, if you play your cards right, then you can get bigger premium with virtual, I think. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much our week. Every week's different. Some weeks, if we go out of town, we're only working 3 days. We only buy that many leads for that week. Some weeks we buy more. When they're on sale, we buy double. So it
And
just,
we keep that schedule because that's just the schedule that we had in the dental world. So it was just
yeah,
Monday through Friday, or I'm sorry, Monday through Thursday, Fridays just free, So that's the reason why we just work those
yeah. And
days.
like last Friday, I worked 4 hours that morning. Didn't even plan on it, but I wrote applications. So like if I know it's an appointment that I'm gonna write, I'll do a Friday. But we got into this mainly for the schedule, not to make a ton of money. If we can do both, that's great. But we just wanted, in dental, it was just so you couldn't take off. I was told I couldn't go on vacation for one time that year. That's when I was like, I'm done. I want to do my own thing, and I still want to make a living, and I still want to help people. So that's why we do I mean, we work full-time hours, but we just try to do it in our schedule, and not, you know, we're not trying to dial at 10 o'clock like Mike, So we try to do what we want and still have the outcome we want. And so far it's working out. But I mean, do you have anything else? Do you have any questions? I don't know how to look at anything, so I don't know why I'm trying.
Oh, I guess that's my cue. Oh, look, I'm so sorry, y'all. There, you got 3 questions here. Okay.
I don't know how to look at it.
What's your typical voicemail that you leave?
Ooh.
And is that after the 3rd dial? Okay, so for me, I dial 3 times. Then after that, I'll dial them another 3 times. If they don't answer after that, I'll leave them a voicemail, and then I send them like a generic quote.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I don't know, I guess I feel like it makes them want to respond back.
Yeah, make it look good.
So I give them a quote for somebody their age, send them a
Oh, I
text
see.
message with that, and then I pretty much do that like on the third time. Is
Like
that
when I leave a voicemail, I don't give much information. Hey, this is Haley. Give me a call back, 770-843-1151. Like I just leave my number and then I hang up. Um, if they call and they answer real quick and they're like not interested, like they won't even let you get through it. I'm like, did you get Transamerica? They're the cheapest on the market right now. What you looking for? You want 300,000, 500,000? Then they're like, oh, I didn't get Transamerica. And you're like, okay, I'll
yeah.
shoot you over some quotes, and then just text it to them. I mean, what are you going to lose? It's either they talk to you now or they hang up on you. So, we didn't used to text. We would text like if they didn't answer, but like if they would like hang up on us, we'd be like, okay, fine, I guess on to the next. Now we text them. I tried to recruit one guy because he was like, oh, I thought I was signing up for a job. I'm like, you can do that too. So I sent him a video, hadn't heard from him. But a lot of those people that you text that wouldn't answer the phone, it's not because they don't want to. I mean, you're a number calling from, they don't know who you are. I don't answer numbers that I don't know. So when you text them, especially younger people, they're like, oh, okay, yeah, I'll call you after work. And then you get it. So text them, leave them messages. What are they gonna do? Block you? They could have done that before. So just
Yeah,
start it. I mean, just like her today, she texted them, and I don't know how much the premium was, but she just made however much money off of just texting the guy once, and then he was done.
yeah. How do you print your leads in the grid?
Ooh,
Sure.
every Monday I have to remember.
Yeah,
um,
I guess, hold on. Okay, I don't know. I might have something I have to just show you later. But there's like a whole bunch of blocks on here or columns. I'll delete most of these, kind of scrunch it up.
where it's like home phone, work number, like all that kind of stuff. We just take that out.
Yeah. And then I just, I don't know, I just kind of play with the margins and stuff and print it. Sometimes it doesn't work out like that, and I have to print it like 5 times, but yeah, it's something I gotta get used to. Um, yes, we could do that. How do you keep clients motivated to when you get declined or downgrades on a risk class you quoted?
We've had to work on this for sure. This is
This is where Mike comes in.
yeah, this is where I call Mike and I might
It
cuss someone out.
it really and truly helps to go to your upline, really get their advice. If you don't have a good upline, I'm so sorry. But
Because we use ours like crazy.
you really have to go to your upline because they help tremendously. Um, I mean, they help you with this kind of stuff, but
It depends on the situation. Some people we're talking about, they get a term, they have current cancer. I just have to straight up tell you, you've got current cancer. You're not getting this. What else do you want? Some it's goes from preferred to standard plus, so it's a couple dollars. It's not that big of a deal. I feel like these people, $20 is, I mean, yeah, it's something, but they're like, okay, I just need coverage. Now if it's like $100, then a more a month, then you kind of got to talk to them. But it's different with every situation because some people it's because they didn't tell you about a medication that they were on 15 years ago that they still take, but they didn't remember it. And then some people are got renal disease and didn't tell you. So half the
mhm.
time when we like if someone has something and they didn't tell us, when we call them and say, "Hey, you're actually put at table D, not preferred,"
They know that.
they know it's coming because this is not the first time they've reached out for insurance. Don't be scared to tell them because what are you gonna do? I mean, you have to tell them. But we struggle with that a lot because we were scared to call them and say, "Hey," but it's not us; it's the insurance company. That's what I kept thinking. If people get declined, I would be like, "What am I doing wrong?" But it's not me; it's the client. It's the insurance company doing that to the client. So once I got that in my head, I was like, that like I can't do any if I was an underwriter, I'd approve all of y'all because I'll just write some applications. But Mike was like, it's not you. You have to, they know what they have. They know what's going to be seen by insurance and they're just waiting on you to call them. So you just have to call them.
Yeah, like I think I I mean, I tell my people I can literally see every single insurance in the state of Georgia.
Yeah, we
Um,
can't.
and I
I
say
don't think.
like there's cheaper options for you, but they're C rated. So
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to go with somebody who's not going to pay out or possibly not pay out? I had a guy who his premium went up like $60. And he was like, do you do Prudential too? And I was like, yeah, of course I do. So I call Prudential and I'm like, hey, I'm a 6'2", 175 guy, smoker, whatever. They give me quotes for it. So I sent him the quotes and I'm like, I don't really like to write Prudential. I don't know if this is legal, but I say, I've had 2 clients already, get declined with Prudential. So, I really don't like writing them anymore, but if that's who you want to go with, that's fine. And he's like, no, I don't really feel comfortable with that. So I guess it kind of, you gotta fill the client out, I guess, and just kind of
Yeah.
work your way around each one of them. Um, yeah, I don't know if that's the way to go, but that's the way I do it. um, but yeah, those are a little tough. I would just kind of really get with your upline and yeah.
Do we
Uh,
have any more questions? I can't see anything. It's
mm,
just me.
an inspirational quote.
Oh, just keep swimming.
And that is very true.
Yeah, you just got to keep
Because
going.
if you stop, it will screw you.
You will drown.
You make um you make $10,000 one month, keep going because if you
Yeah.
stop, it will literally screw you.
Yeah.
You have to keep going. Um
Oh, I
Oh,
can see it now.
oh, uh, from the text, I guess I don't understand from the text you leave. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, I'm sorry. No, we send them like we don't send them an inspirational quote. We send them like
Oh
just
no, they don't get that from us. No.
like if they're 57 male, we send them like a generic quote that's for a 57-year-old male, non-smoker, healthy.
Yeah, we go to
Um,
Transamerica, look at Preferred Plus, send it to them when they call you and they say they're smoker and they might have COPD, then we'll work out the kinks. But always send it to them and
it,
just make it look,
it,
just get them on the phone. All you got
yeah,
to do
get them on
is
the phone.
text them or leave a message for them to call you back. That's all you have to do. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, then you have to talk to them. But as long as they call you back, that's why like if someone named John called me, hey, Haylee, it's John. Give me a call. I'm probably gonna call him because I'm like, who's John and why is he calling me? He sounds a little urgent. So that's why we're very vague when we leave voicemails. Like, I mean, you gotta be mysterious, you know? Um, you can't lay it all out, you know? So then when they call you, they're like, who is this? And I'm like, oh, good, you're on the phone. And then get into it, you know? So
Mhm.
just be very vague. And even text, you don't have to send Transamerica. Um, you could say, you know, if your family likes you, call me, and then, you know, go from there. But really, you just, whatever you send, it's to essentially the goal is to get them to call you. That's all you need.
Mhm.
You could send inspirational quotes. I don't think it's going to work.
I think that would be a very good inspirational quote to send them.
What?
Just keep swimming.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll be like, who's this? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. You see,
Like,
you
how
got
you
to
doing?
play, you got to act like you know them. You got to be so nonchalant.
Hmm.
Um, the second you sound like a telemarketer, you're done.
Yeah. And I feel like we're two different people. Like what were you? Like a beaver or a shark or like a lion or something aggressive, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty
And,
aggressive.
well, like that's how you're like with me, I have to have my script with me. That's my security blanket.
Marissa's a golden
Um,
retriever.
I'm like, hey guys, this is Marissa. And Haley's like, hey, this is
I'm
Haley.
like, yo, this is the
Get some
deal.
insurance. um, but I think you are
And they
supposed
both
to,
work. They like both
yeah.
of them, you know, it's you know, you can be someone different every day. But as long as you know, we'll try that. As long as you can get them on the phone, you're good.
They're never gonna let us do this again.
No.
Um,
Any more questions?
that's, we're losing them, Haley. I think that's
A
pretty
wrap?
much, yeah. Keep your receipts, guys.
Oh yeah. Taxes.
I think that's pretty much it. I think there's, let's see, 21 people on here, so get your tickets for Vegas. I expect to see 21 tickets bought. Um,
And family reunion tickets.
the room block expires this Friday. So if you can get that, there's super awesome people talking. So it's really good for people really trying to get into virtual. So I would highly suggest going to this event.
I think they'll be doing like all topics, but I think they're focusing
Yeah.
on people.
Um, I think they're doing something kind of fun on Friday and then, the event on Saturday. But get your tickets. Like I said, the room block expires this Friday, so I don't have anything else to say.
All right.
Um, okay, no more questions. So, okay, thanks, guys. I
All right, bye guys. I'm going to watch American Idol.
don't know how to stop this.
I can do it.
Okay.